everyone, and welcome to another week of This Week in Eorzea. I'm here with Pyra, my savior of a brain cell. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me as always. I don't know if savior of a brain cell is what I'm going to use. You're the brain,
it's a title,
I'm
right?
the chaos.
Oh, okay, right. You bring the chaos. Chaos. Okay. We're here with all the news there is for Final Fantasy XIV in a kind of chill, positive way. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for being here. There's a little bit of news, but mostly we're just waiting for Friday. It's like the countdown to Friday is on. What's happening Friday? Pyra, you know what's happening Friday.
It's my day off. No, I'm kidding. The letter from the producer live. What are we at? Number 86? I think.
Oh God, something like that. They always use Roman 86? Numerals, and I don't ever know. So.
I know XIV and XVI, and like that's it. That's where you got me.
Exactly.
This one should be the big one. I believe this is the big one before patch 7.2. So
it's
a lot
the
of
big
info.
one. It's the big one. I mean, 7.2 is 2 weeks out. So fingers crossed we're going to know everything there is to want to be known about it by the end of Friday.
It's the end of March almost already.
I know, right? Letter from the producer live is always super early in the morning. So if you want to tune in, it is 3 o'clock Pacific, and it will be only in Japanese. So you'll have to bring up the official Discord for the translation, or just look at the pretty pictures. The slides will be also in English. So there's that. Until then, until Friday comes around, we've got a couple of things going on. Little Ladies Day is going on through the 17th. I just did the quest on stream today. It's a cute little quest. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did. It's a cute little quest. And the outfit's really cool. I didn't get to like make an outfit with it yet, but it's a nice one. Like I feel like this is a really nice full outfit, which I wasn't expecting before we saw the notes on it. But usually we get like, you know, a dress and this or something. But
yeah, no, and it's got like a sash on it that actually moves quite realistically and looks really cool. So, yeah, make sure you get it done before the 17th or you'll regret it. They'll sell you those items next year with a smile on their face. The Moogle Treasure Trove. Make sure you're doing your mini and weekly mogs right now, because as of tomorrow they switch over again and you'll lose out on those Moogle coins. How many tomes have you gotten?
Not nearly as many as you. I got the magic bed because I didn't already have that. I think that was 50. And I think I'm up over 150 now. So I think I've gotten 200 total. Well, like, very passively, too. I've done my ultimog. I've done my weeklies. But I haven't farmed past that. So the fact that I've already gotten one of the big checkmark, checklist of items that I wanted is pretty good. How about you?
Awesome. When I ended stream today, I was at 555, which I thought was a nice even number. So I left it there. I haven't purchased anything. I'm just kind of accruing at this stage to see how far I can get. 555 though, I mean, I can get most of what I want for that, I think. Except I'm never satisfied. I always I want more. Want more maps. I want more MGP. There's those sinks that you can kind of keep putting tomes into and keep getting stuff out of. So I think the best way to do it is to just not worry about spending until the end, and then it is what it is, because it makes me feel like even right now I'm wasting time because I'm not getting tomes, It's Moogle tome events are very stressful for me.
Next podcast, we're just going to be talking while helping Debbie farm Moogle tomes.
So yeah, if you're like me, the Gold Saucer has been the savior of my event and also the bane of my existence. So It's the best place to be. Every 20 minutes you get a gate that gives you between like 3 and 10 Moogle tomes. So it's just a good thing to have up in the background while you're like living life. Just tune in every 20 minutes when you hear the ding and get some more Moogle tomes. It's, yeah. The live letter, the online store had an update today. Did you know about this?
I did. I didn't get to fully immerse myself in everything, but between the Mog Station and then the online store for like physical things, I wish I had more expendable income or any expendable income right now.
Right. I did buy the bubbles and the palm trees this morning. Yes. I couldn't help myself. I used to blow bubbles all the time as a kid. We all used to, me and my brother and sister. The dogs loved it. Like, we would just go outside in the summer and just blow bubbles for hours at a time. So I saw it and I'm like, I absolutely have to. So I did. Again, if you ever want to see a good video on any of these emotes, I can't recommend Meoni enough. Like, that guy just like will show you everything from every point of view, different characters, all the expressions. Just amazing videos. But the bubbles are so shiny, and they've got that kind of soapy, like prismatic sheen to them. It's just... Personally, I thought it was worth $7.
It looks so worth it.
But then I also... Sorry. I also made a video saying how not to buy things on the online store, so I'm just a big hypocrite, but go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, leveling back to Meoni, because I absolutely adore Meoni's videos. That man should be making commission for the way he talks and shows the everything in the game. It makes me want it more. Like, it's like, oh, I'll watch his video to see if I want something, and then I do want it more. He should be making commission. Just saying, Sweenix, if you ever watch this.
Right. Yeah, no, fantastic job. And the benefit of him being in Europe, obviously, is that he is wide awake when these things drop usually, and is able to get content out so much faster than all of us poor North Americans who are just like waking up in the morning, rubbing our eyes, and he's already got a video out. So,
yep.
No, fantastic job there. And the other one, like you said, was the Square Enix store, which I have up as well. Which I listen. I saw the regulator is cool. The regulator is very cool. But I saw the fat chocobo head came back.
Debbie, I have the fat chocobo head. Yeah. I should bring it one day. It's literally this big. It's huge.
I know. So I put it in the cart and went to go see how much they would charge me to send it to me, and it's like $34.99 shipping. I'm like, it's so much. But the regulator is just a clip-on, like it's got a little hair clip on the back, so you can just attach it to your head, or I guess it has a headband, and it glows.
Really cool. See, life hack. The more things you add to your cart, the more you can divide the shipping by those things, and it feels like a deal.
There you go. Well, you see, I was looking at the fat chocobo head, and then they have some really nice bowls and stuff, but they're a little expensive. But what else? Oh yeah, all the camping stuff. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole through the store. I'm not going to take you guys on that journey because we don't have enough time. But you know what? If you're looking for some merch, they've updated it. A lot of things that they had run out of, they're putting second pre-orders up, which is what's going on with the chocobo there. That it's not supposed to come out until August.
Oh wow!
But yeah, you can put your name on one.
I can't wait until I told myself if the fat cat cushion, beanbag chair, like the gigantic fat cat ever came back, that was like multiple hundreds of dollars, I'm gonna buy it. So I kind of want them to make a second wave, and at the same time, like, please, my wallet can't handle it right now. Like, give me another year before offering that. But I also want it really bad.
Okay, you know those ginormous beanbags, like the adult bed-sized beanbags? And if they did a fat cat like that, I would be poor. I've always wanted one of those ginormous beanbags, but
they did that with a Namazu, my room would be filled, and I would also be poor.
Forget the chair, forget the desk. We'll just like live on Namazu. Yeah.
I don't see any problem.
Okay. Community check this week. I put up a poll on YouTube, so you might have seen it on your way to this video. If not, it should be in your feed if you follow me. Do you blue mage? Do you blue mage? And the reason this came up, of course, is because this week's mini mog had two different options. One of them was a rare fish, and the other one was a blue mage thing. Pyra, do you blue mage?
Not much. So funny enough, I did do the blue mage portion of this week, and if I blue mage, it's for memes and for leveling up, and that's typically it. Like, once I've kind of done the memes, I don't really blue mage. How about you, Debbie?
Okay, that's one of the options on my poll, by the way, is just a picture of exploded Hildebrand saying, does self-destruct count? So you can definitely answer the poll. I blue mage. I blue mage. I'm an umbrella carrying official blue mage.
Nice.
Yeah, working on my achievements kind of as I see parties come up with them, kind of not putting a lot of effort into it, but slowly getting those entire blue mage clears of like extremes and raids and stuff like that. So
that's something I'd like to do at some point, is the raids. Oh, yeah, God. Especially like being a raider, I think it'd be funny to go back into like old raids on blue mage as a meme.
Listen, if you do, I will be right there, because one, I want those achievements, and that marble, I really want the marble mount.
I want it so bad.
Speaking of that, if you haven't already done it and you want to catch a glimmer scale, this week's tip of the week is you totally can. It doesn't take very much. I think the gathering required for it is like 250 or something. I have a video how to do it. I got it on my alt in like 4 casts. So it was super easy.
Not bad.
The first thing you have to do, though, first go to Garland Bell. And if you haven't been there, here, let me share how to do it. So this is garlandtools.org/bell. Right there. You type in the search on the side here, glimmer scale, it'll pop up. So right now, the glimmer scale is not up, but in 12 minutes it will be. At 5:56 p.m. Pacific, you can start fishing for it. All you have to do is get some butterworm, go to Western Thanalan 2421. The first couple of casts you put in, one of them might be a copper scale. Surface slap that bugger so he doesn't pop up again. And then only reel in !! fierce bites. You'll get it. You'll get it. I mean, what is it? It's like 10 Moogle tomes, but if you don't blue, you got no other choice, right?
Yeah.
It's
I was kind of happy with this week's one because both options seemed reasonably easy to get, and they were kind of like 2 totally different pieces of content. So I chose blue mage just because I feel like I haven't touched my blue mage in forever, but it's good to hear that the fishing one is also pretty easy, pretty nice and low-key.
Absolutely. And you could do it really fast. Like, there are some blue mage levels that you can knock out in like less than a minute. So definitely the faster option if you have it. Absolutely.
I think I just did like the first map, which was just silly. It's silly with all the abilities I have, just going through, just knocking out the enemies one shot each time, but it was easy.
Hey,
I'll take it.
Moogle tomes are Moogle tomes. Like, come on, do you want them or do you not? Like, there is no low to which we won't stoop. Do you know how many times I've done self-step over the last few days? Like, once is too many, but I've done it way more than that. Do you know the one thing, if you're a betting person, you can always bet on one thing when it comes to self-step. You know what that is? That someone is going to shout inside self-step how much they hate self-step. 100% of the time. Oh, God. That's beautiful. We hate it. Thanks, Yoshi P. Speaking of Yoshi P, this is what we're not talking about this week. We are not talking about this fad going on right now, people talking about him getting removed from the board of directors. It is not true. He was not removed. He just had way too much on his plate. It was time. He decided to part ways with the board of directors and focus on being a producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. Pyra, do you have anything you want to say before we don't say anything at all?
That's it? He's only going to be a producer and director of a major MMO? Like,
I know,
come on,
right?
That's just like an internship. Come on, man. Like, no. The man's got plenty on his plate, and I feel like I agree. There's been so much stuff out there, and a lot of it has been not accurate, or at least more speculation or like opinion versus fact. So I'm kind of done looking into it as well. And yeah, I have no place to say what's going on in that situation because I'm not there. I wasn't there when decisions were made. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, that's all I got. How about you, Debbie?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Here's what I have to say. So if your news on the topic is a entertainment/drama focused creator reading comments off the internet, it's not news. And I dislike the fact that that's how this information is typically right now being presented. He's done a fantastic job with the game. The game was more popular than ever as recently as a couple of years ago, and it's kind of in its stride again. People say what you want about the story. Say what you want about the story, but it's still one of the most competitive MMOs at the moment. So he's got a lot. Cut him some slack. He's a busy guy. He's said in numerous interviews he didn't even enjoy being on the board of directors. So now maybe he has a little bit more time. He can maybe eat something or sleep. I don't think we need him to be more present in the game right now, but we need him to take care of himself. My God. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Someone's got to change his hamster water bottle. And, you know,
take away the cigarettes.
Wheel.
Some water. Oh God, poor guy. Hot topic. I need to create a jingle. Anyone who can create me a jingle, let me know. Ooh. This week's hot topic: achievements. Achievements in the game. So, are you an achievement? Or are you? Because I totally am.
There are a few handful of reasons why I do ultimates, and achievements are just one of the many.
Okay. Like, that's why we like video games, right? That's why I like video games. It gives you that sense of achievement. Like, if I'm at work working a hard day, someone's still gonna be up to me and asking me, like, to do more, or telling me that my job is just arts and crafts, or something equally devastating. But in game, you complete something, you get an achievement, a title, something dings on the screen, there's a pop-up, a little fanfare. You feel like you're participating in life. So achievements are very important. Final Fantasy has done a good job of linking a lot of achievements with rewards. Not so much, I think, with maybe the achievement points, which we can talk about in a little bit, but tying things like titles and minions and mounts and stuff to achievements. What is your experience with the achievement system to date?
Yeah, so I am someone who I'm not as crazy as like Cider Spider. I don't know if you've seen his videos, but he's trying to get like, I think it's every achievement in the game essentially. I give him all the props in the world. I am not that dedicated to farming achievements, but I don't know, there's something like super rewarding about like every achievement. Anytime I get one, it's like a ooh, piece of candy. Like, what was this? Especially if it's passively. I know there's certain ones that I always go after, like every time we have a new expansion, because I've always been a caster main, so it's like I need my, whatever the magic one is, like the Grandmaster of Magic or whatever the title is. Now, once I started doing ultimates last year, like, the perfect legend title is like the only title I ever want until I do my next one. So it's always like, I don't know if I ever go like super hard into trying to get one cleared at a time, but it's like, it's super gratifying every time like that I get one, or if I get one passively.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I've always been super focused on achievements. But when was it now? We're going to date ourselves here, and I'm sorry. I apologize. When they really changed up the achievement menu to include like the nearing completion and the wish list of achievements and that sort of thing, when they made that sort of change where you could like curate your own like to-do list of achievements, that's when it really kind of took off for me. And I kind of added a whole bunch of things, and it kind of became a little bit of a checklist on, oh yeah, I want all of these things. I have so many titles. I think I think my only kind of sticking point about it is I can't have more than one. Or I can't put them on rotation. Like, you can't have a different title every time you log in. Like, I want more ways to show it off. Maybe even a link in game to like sharing an achievement on social media or something. I want. I just have so many wants. I'm sorry. I want everyone to know. I mean, if I get something really cool, I want to be all about sharing it. I want to show off my title. I will say, I do like that you can claim items from the achievement menu now. And not have to run to Gridania to pick them up.
Poor Jonathan.
No one comes to visit
once in
anymore.
A while. Once in a blue moon, I'm like, oh yeah, how are you doing, buddy? Let me see if you got anything for me. No, not really. Okay, I'll check in with you next year.
Well, see, yeah. So someone said they have one title and use one title only. I mean, I have my favorite that I usually have on. I'm a seeker of truth because I'm a Sword of Truth fan. But every time I go into the menu to like look at something or what have you, and I look at all the titles and I'm like, oh my God, I like that one. I like that one. I like that one. Why don't I use that one? Like, that one seems really cool. Why can't we attach titles to like glam plates? That would be really cool too.
Ooh. That would be really cool. That's kind of how I feel too. Like, I love so many of my titles, and the only reason that I'm adamantly like wanting my perfect legend one, it's not even to be like, look at me, I do ultimate. It's more of like, I have blood, sweat, and tears and many many days and hours that went into this content. I'm wearing my title for as long as I physically possibly can.
Yeah, but then what happens, like you said, when you get the next big achievement? And then it's like, but
more blood,
also I mean, I like showing off some of the achievements that I've done, but I like showing them all off. I can't always be seeker of truth if I want people to know I'm a world-class troller, you know? I just and like, how do you choose? How do you choose? Or do you just go with the most recent?
It's very tough. Like, I feel like before I did Ultimates too, like, I would always go with, like, the most recent, but then, like, that, like, Grandmaster of Magic or Goddess of Magic or whatever was my, like, fallback. And I think a lot of that reason was because, like, Black Mage has always been my baby. So, like, that was always my fallback of, like, this looks cool. But then, like, if I finished the storyline or if I did, like, a new thing, I'd pop the new one into kind of, like, rotation. One thing, I technically have it as, like, the background of my phone. Like, every time... I'll not dox something on my phone. Every time I touch my phone, like, a different picture of my dog show up.
Aww.
I almost wish we had something like that in titles. Like, every time I look at my character, bloop, it just filters through another title. Something where it's like, I don't have to go and manually go through my hundreds of titles to try to find a new one.
Okay. So am I just hallucinating, or way back in the day, did it used to be there was a setting that your title could always be set to the most recent one you earned? I feel in my heart like that used to be a thing, but I have no evidence, of course.
I don't know. I feel like... I don't think you're hallucinating, but I can't recall if that were a thing.
Yeah, if anyone who played back in the Realm Reborn days knows for sure, let me know, because it could be one of those, like, Berenstein Bears sort of thing going on. Maybe it just seemed that way because there weren't so many titles, and it just seemed like I had enough time to always put on the more recent one.
There's, like, one page of titles, and it's like, oh, one of my 20 options. Versus now it's like, dear God, alphabetize them. If nothing else, I can't figure it out.
Yeah, as Zome said, he had like 500 and something titles. Like, what do you do?
I don't even know how many I have. That sounds so pompous, and it's not meant to be, but, like, I really don't know how many I have at this point. There's so many.
But I mean, they're good ones. Whether you choose the obnoxiously long one, the most important one, the rarest one, the one that suits your character more. I just wish there was a way to change them more often, like socks. The other part of this I wanted to talk about, of course, was what we had mentioned earlier, Jonas. So now that we don't have to go see him to turn in or to get our rewards, we only have to visit him for achievement points. And now, big brain moment, Pyra, do you even know what achievement points do anymore?
You can technically... So, listen. Back in the day, this is where I'm gonna sound like a boomer in 14. Back in my day, login rewards were X, Y, and Z, and now you just go talk to Jonathus or whatever his name is, and you use points to get things that we've had in the game for 9 to 10 years.
Yeah, so there was a system back in the day where it was like length of your subscription. For every day you were subscribed, there was like tiering rewards to get items in game. Now you can buy them with achievement points. So every achievement you get has a little plaque on the right hand side that tells you how many points it's worth. You accrue those points. Jonathus in Old Gridania is the person you can buy these things from. He has been updated like recently within the past expansion. Has had like an orchestrion role added to him. I mean, doesn't really matter to people who have achievements completed, because there's still more points than you could possibly spend on anything he has. If the rewards were updated, would you use it more often?
Oh, absolutely. I would even be happy or at least like more content with the system if there were things that you could buy with all of your achievement points, even if they don't add new items to the game. Like I think of something like if I go to Wolves Den, if I'm really capped on my wolf marks, I can at least get like materia or demi materia or something, or ventures, you know, like there's kind of like those consumables that you always need. And so it doesn't feel like a waste if I kind of like overcap on something. My poor achievement points have just sat there collecting dust for years, it feels like.
Yeah, no, mine too. I mean, every time I hear that there's something new there, I'll go check it out, buy it. And then what else do you do? I mean, speaking of those standard consumable items though, like you can get those a lot of places. Like I think every vendor in the game sells them. Like you can get them for wolf marks, you can get them from Grand Company seals. You can get them. Can you get them on the island? You can get dyes and stuff, but
I think you can get some materia. I don't know about demi materia, but I believe materia you can get on the island.
I think I'm at the point now where I am kind of maxing out a lot of different currencies. And there hasn't been anything really to do with them. So this leads back, of course, to my throne that I sit on every now and again, every couple of weeks, regarding why are they not doing anything with this old content to freshen it up, to make it more exciting, to have people come back, to make it a feature of the game instead of a forgotten avenue. Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm with you. Like, my throne's next to yours, or at least, you know, maybe I'm on the armchair of the throne. I love this game to no end, but there's so many forgotten pieces of content in this game. Like, I almost wish they would scrap it. Like, I would almost be happy if they just said, no, we're gonna get rid of this, versus just kind of, it's kind of like seeing those defunct amusement parks. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of the amusement parks that they just vacate, and they're the structures are there. Like, it's closed, and there's just vegetation and growth everywhere of what used to be. That's kind of how I feel like some of these old pieces. That's how I feel like even Island Sanctuary is going. I know that's kind of off topic, but like, hey, look at what was relevant, and now we're gonna let it sweep under the rug, and maybe we'll touch it again in 10 years.
Right. But I mean, like something like the Grand Companies, you there are parts of it that are not updated at all, like the rankings, you know, beyond whatever the maximum rank we can get is, and they haven't done anything with squadrons, so it's largely just kind of flavor for the first 50 levels of the game. But with achievements, every patch, every expansion, they're adding new achievements. So it's an active part of 14 that has this like secret underbelly that just is completely ignored. So it seems odd that they're putting the time and attention into keeping the achievement system up to date and just ignoring achievement points. Or it feels that way. I don't
know. Like, I wish that they would, like, and I don't even know what they could add, and that's why, like, the consumables, even though there's so many vendors, like, it would feel like at least a system to do something with it. Because if not, we're just collecting all these points, and, you know, for those of us like you and I we've been here a while, like, we have a lot of points just sitting there. And I mean, I understand on one hand why they kind of squash the system of like players day, like subscriber days or subscriber days. You know what I mean?
Oh, days subscribed.
Days subscribed. Yeah, that one. Like, I kind of get why they that maybe was getting too hard to upkeep, but like, know. I feel like some fresh things there. Maybe it's stuff from the Mog station that's low-hanging fruit. That's not that much money, and you have to use a bunch of points to go towards. I don't know. I feel like there are so many things that they could put there, and exactly like you said, the more expansions we get where you can keep collecting these achievements like tokens, but you can't spend them, it just feels kind of a little... It feels silly. Like, I think it's kind of like, let's just completely not continue this process, or let's, like, make it sustainable and actually kind of something.
The other thing that I get a lot, and of course I notice it myself, is searching achievements in the achievement menu. While they've done a good job of highlighting ones you're getting close to or ones you've wishlist, using the side to navigate through to find a specific achievement is sometimes incredibly difficult, especially if you're not sure exactly which subcategory it falls under, which sometimes isn't very intuitive. Have you had that issue?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, like, friends and I will be talking about a thing, I'm like, you're gonna have to give me like a step-by-step map quest directions of how to get there, because sometimes it's like buried in a sea of different categories, and some achievements you think would be in one category and end up being in a different one. It's kind of it's a little difficult to kind of go through.
Absolutely. So I would trade all 411 of my achievement certificates for the hot pot mount. Yes.
Same.
Yes. Like you're saying, even if the conversion rate is ridiculous, yes, they're not the certificates aren't doing anything else. Might as well use them to win something. Map quest. Yeah, I know they have search functions in the achievement menu that allow to search for like achievements by reward. So you can search for ones that have mounts or ones that have minions. But I don't think there's any direct searching for a specific achievement. So the system itself just needs a little bit of quality of life. So I would say for me, the quality of life I would want to see would be making titles more accessible. And I mean, like having hundreds of titles is very accessible. If you go in every day and like go through your wardrobe and choose the one title you want to wear, and you can make that decision in a reasonable amount of time, or have some sort of way to automate that process. Being able to share achievements online with more people, and what did I say? Easier to search for an achievement. Like, do you ever those pop-up boxes that you can disable when you go into a zone and they're like achievements in this area? Do you ever look at those? Because I mean, that would help the problem I'm talking. This would be the exact solution to the problem, but it's something that I shut down every time it shows up. How about you?
I am so used. It's kind of like when I get junk mail. Not to say that it's a bad system, but I'm just so used to escape or X. Like, as soon as I log in, I feel like I should utilize it more, but I'm just, because it pops up every time you log in, I'm just so used to just whoop, get out of that.
Yeah, there are three things that always pop up, right? There's the do you want something about going to an external website for help? Yeah. Yeah. And there's the achievements for your area or achievements nearing completion. And then there's, I don't know, one other big one that appears on my screen. And you're right, it's just like muscle memory to XXX as soon as I log in, and then you're just gone.
It's funny how you say that too, and for the life of me, I don't know what the other ones are, but I know I'm Xing out of them the second I log in. I'm like, boop, boop.
Oh man, it's horrible, but it's true. It's like the everything's okay alarm. You just kind of stop listening to it because everything's okay. If one of those boxes didn't show up, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on? Something's wrong here. I don't know what that thing was, but it should have been here. Disable it. These can be disabled. You can go into your settings and you can disable them. The other thing Final Fantasy XIV suffers from, for new players or older players who feel this in their soul, it suffers from a lot of menu options. And all of these settings are in different menus. So you've got like your chat menu, your settings menu, your character settings menu, your global settings menu. And unless you know what menu you're supposed to go into to do a particular thing, and each of these menus have multiple tabs, by the way.
Yep.
A lot of people have difficulty finding the menu option they need to do the thing they wanted to do.
I get lost sometimes. Playing this game for over 10 years, and there are so many times I'll go into system configuration instead of character configuration and vice versa. Like mostly like a few things I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly where that is, or I kind of have like a hotkey to like get there automatically for my audio, because I stream a lot, so like I play with my audio all the time, but I'm always in the wrong menu. And then I'm like, nope, oh, it's the other one.
And people could ask. People could ask, like, hey, where is the toggle for the keyboard versus controller option? And I'm like, yeah, it's that giant big toggle on the left hand of the screen. I don't know which screen. It's one of the two menus. I don't remember which one. Is it the character one? Is it the general settings one? I can't remember. If I were to have to guess, if someone made me guess, I would guess character. But in game, when I go to bring it up, it's always the second one. Whichever one I click on first, it's always going to be the other one.
This is why anytime I've taken a friend through, especially if they're newer to the game, and they're like, oh, how do you find that? I'm like, I got you. First, let me log in and look it up myself so it can jog my memory of what menu it's in, and then I'll tell you how to get there. And if you ask me again in a month, I'm gonna have to do the same process because I will forget. Exactly.
So, there's a lot of quality of life we've been unpacking, but it's the kind of thing we're expecting eventually to see mentioned in a live letter, like the one on Friday, is addressing maybe some of these kind of archaic systems that make the game a little bit more unintuitive a thing, a little less intuitive for people to learn to play. Not that I'm complaining as a YouTuber who makes some of my money from producing guides to the game from everyone who Googles how to do this and that. But I mean, everyone would benefit from things being a little bit easier to understand.
And if there's an expansion to do, it's still Dawn Trail. Like Dawn Trail, and again, kind of like you prefaced earlier, like we're not talking about the story necessarily. I think this is regardless of like if you love the story or not for Dawn Trail, like this ultimately is the expansion of like quality of life, and this is our like vacation episode, and this is our like, we're not doing anything super serious, we're kind of resetting the bar with a new graphics update and some new systems and yada yada yada. And so like Dawn Trail's still not over. We still got like what, another year-ish?
Two-ish at least, yeah.
Two-ish? Something like that. So it's like I hope that they continue to make these quality of life improvements. Like I think we saw a good amount in the core expansion of Dawn Trail, and like a lot of these little ones, I feel like if they kind of tackled a few every major patch, I'd be excited.
Yeah, no, to your point, this is the absolute best time to really get in on some of these updates. Especially since a lot of people have kind of been meh about the story. They're going on a little bit of a longer break than usual because there are some really awesome games out right now. So wouldn't it be nice to do all this kind of housekeeping while they're gone? And then by the time the story really ramps up again, like the game is fresh and shiny and new and kind of modernized for the next generation of story. If that were to happen, I mean, it should, but if it were to happen, what's like the top 3 items on your to-do list if you were doing some Final Fantasy XIV housekeeping?
Oh, you're talking about like kind of like everything in the game, quality of life?
Quality of life, yeah.
It sounds silly for one of them. One of them literally is leave quests. I want them to be relevant again, or I want them to die. And it sounds silly, but like I remember doing them so much in A Realm Reborn, and I remember how they felt like they were supposed to be one thing, and they kind of like trickled out, and now it's like, really, I think I've only used them for crafters and gatherers since. That system is something that it's like I want to do them. You know what I mean? Like I don't do them. I haven't done them in a while. I want to find a reason to do them. So that is one. I think another thing too, for me at least, I know this is going to be a hot topic, controversial opinion. There was something super special to raiding in the Alexander raids Savage. It was my first time ever raiding in any game ever doing hard content. You had to be physically in person in whatever map that is where Alexander's just chilling. You had to be there to queue and to get into the fight. That was like, I'm not saying like let's necessarily do that for every piece of content like that, but like give me a reason to be somewhere. And that kind of goes into like houses and like different like community areas. Give me a reason to go somewhere after the map's over. Because if not, like I just see so many of these maps kind of like not get love and attention, and it makes me sad. Like I want to go there. I want to go feel like, you know, meet people in a fun zone or something like that. I think that's why I gravitate to liking that part of like Eureka, Baja, like you have to physically go somewhere to kind of like do something. The last one. I feel like they're making a lot, speaking of houses too, like I think they're making a lot of housing improvements, especially like we have no columns now, which is amazing with certain things. I feel like there can always be more that they could do with those too. Like even kind of going on my number 2 point, which is give me more reasons to go to my house, besides just socially. Like, I don't know what those will be, but I think it would make certain parts of the game feel a little bit more interactive.
Listen,
and enjoyable.
I have a large house. I worked hard. I bought it. I love it. But 2 things lately have made it so I don't care for my house. One is I still have to go to an in-room every single day because I can't have a glamour dresser in my house. Like, if the glamour dresser was in my house, I wouldn't be going to an in-room. I'd be going to my house. And 2, I got rid of the pillars, but one of the consequences for that was it just wipes all of your furniture and puts it all in storage. So my house got naked. So I have a naked house with no glamour dresser, and guess what? I don't like to go there. It makes me angry. So I'm working on it slowly. I'm refurnishing. I started in the basement. Work my way up.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really disappointing. It was a double blow there. So, word to the wise, before you decorate a house, choose whether or not you want pillars. After you've decorated it, it just is what it is. It's not moving. For me, quality of life, like you said, means maybe going back and editing out some of these things that you know you're not going to do anything about, so it stops driving people crazy. Especially OCD people like me who just like to pick at things. Like like squadrons, like Ground Company ranks, like Islands Sanctuary even, like pretty much anything, the currencies, achievements. If you're not going to be investing any more energy into it, consider trimming it. I know they don't want to narrow down their options. I know they like to leave it open. But there's got to be a way to like preserve the code somewhere on like a test server or a dead server and kind of chop it out of the live game. I mean, I'm not a dev. I don't know. But the more we see these things, the more it does feel like an abandoned theme park. Just happy things used to happen here, but now it's just scary. You know, I want those. It's gonna come back to me. I want those Grand Company ranks. Every time I think about it, it just makes me sad all over again. I want to be a champion. I'm sorry. I have done way too much.
Haven't we proven our worth?
Right?
We've saved the world so many times. Can't we be a champion or captain, whatever?
I mean, honestly, in my mind, the Grand Companies should just kind of make us honorary that rank because of all we've done. I mean, I know we don't really want to pick sides politically, but come on. We've saved the world. Like, give us the rank. Yeah, but in the meantime, some of this content, when I do go back to it, I remember how much I enjoyed it. And I think that new players could enjoy it too. It's not bad content. It's just stuff that's kind of been left to collect dust. And if they were to refresh the rewards, kind of bring it out again, then old players and new players could get to enjoy it. Like being, I presume, being a parent of a human child and like showing them the cartoons you used to enjoy as a kid or the movies you used to enjoy as a kid. You're happy because you're showing them something that meant so much to you when you were young. They're probably going to like turn up their nose at it and think it's really uncool, but I mean, we remember the happy times.
We were there.
We were there. Do you have any final thoughts on achievements, on nostalgia, on quality of life updates for the game going forward?
Yeah, I think with all of the things that are kind of like that we nitpick a little bit and like don't love about it, like I still love putting on a flashy new title. I still love doing these silly, doing tanks, like high level things on tank to try to get a tank mount once in a while. Like there's so many things that I'm still going after. So like the possibilities are kind of endless. Like technically it's not endless. There's so many things to do. However, I do very much agree. Like I think we could see some quality of life improvements just to like really update these systems to kind of like match how the game is today versus how they thought the game might have been 5 to 10 years ago. So I think people still want these systems in place, or want to, like you said, not have that pinging feeling every time you go to your Grand Company, like, oh, what if? So hopefully they fix that. But how about you, Debbie?
I think it's going back to the roots. Like, my wish is that they don't get so caught up in being cutting edge, brand new, extremely popular content that they forget their roots. Because going back to these things that made the game special and made the game so memorable in the first place is not a bad thing. It's not digging up the past. It's not going backwards. It's kind of flushing it out and refining it and polishing it up and putting it on a shelf. Like, yeah, there are areas to innovate, and that's what expansions are for. But polishing up the rest of the game in between, it could only benefit new players and old players. And I want to be there when new players get to experience the joy of some of this content that we haven't really loved in a long time. And to your point, criticizing the game does not mean we dislike the game. It's like picking on a best friend, or yelling at a sibling, or telling your brother he stinks. Like it's an act of love. We love the game, and so we criticize it in a fun, like
constructive and fun.
constructive and fun way, pointing out its foibles, telling it how it can improve, realizing that it might never live up to our expectations, getting to meet its live-in girlfriend. You know, all of these things. Well, wait, maybe yeah. Listen, the game is not perfect. I am not perfect, and I am completely okay with that. Where will you be streaming today if people wanted to catch a little bit more of you today, this week?
Today? I was gonna say, not today. I'm gonna go busy. This week, Twitch and YouTube, as always. We have more Ultimate stuff this week. We're gonna try to get into some casual Moogle Tomes farming this weekend. Not Final Fantasy 14, but there is new Phasmophobia content, which is also something that I've been kind of sneaking into my streaming rotation. So we will be doing that tomorrow for an extra special long stream. And yeah, that's my week. How about you, Debbie?
That's really cool. I do have a brand new stream schedule out. So if you haven't checked it out, I do have it posted on Discord and on Twitch. It does include Debbie After Dark, Debbie in the Dark streams. So that's a variety stream every Saturday evening. Friday night maps, Monday night, this week in Eorzea doesn't change. And then I've got Final Fantasy 14 streams on Sundays and Mondays. You know what? I am going to be a busy person. But you know what? It's worth it. I can't make a choice between working full-time and hanging out with all of you. So I'm going to do it both. There might be some nap streams on occasion. If you come by stream and I'm sleeping, just like leave a cookie or something, it'll all be good. Perfect. Other than that, we are waiting with bated breath for Friday. Next Monday's episode will hopefully be super awesome.
So excited.
Fingers crossed. What are you hoping for? What's on your live letter bingo?
Ooh, I should make a live letter bingo, which is a completely different subject, but I honestly, I'm hooked for two things. I'm hooked to just know when exactly the date is, so I can know how much time I have to allot to the new field exploration and or the gathering, or like the occult crescent or the cosmic exploration. And then I also just need to see stuff for the ultimate, or not the ultimate, the Sabbath, the new fights. We had like a disco area. I just want to know what other wrestlers we're gonna see for the Arcadian. I'm super stoked about that. Are you
Arcadian absolutely for the win.
Honeybee Lovely's been like in my head all week. So like I'm ready for it. Round 2.
I'm not much of a raider, but I love the idea. I love the way it's put together. The fights are so interactive, so immersive. The music is just amazing. By far my favorite normal raid tier. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, to find out obviously which one of the two large new content areas will be introduced with the patch. I know it's got to be one of them. Maybe this is Copium. I know it has to be one of them. They wouldn't not put either of them front page on release. So one of them, it's got to be one of them. And give me some sort of a tool or a relic weapon this early on in the expansion. Why not? Some sort of tool or relic weapon upgrade. Something that I can pour all of my spare time into.
What's that?
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you excited about? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much, everyone who watched while we're live and in the future. Thank you so much. We are here every Monday for Final Fantasy 14 news. Yeah. Take care. Love yourself as much as you. I forgot my own outro. You do your outro. I messed it up.
My own outro. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.